Howdy, welcome to Broken Carnivore. My name is Kelly. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Before I get started on this video topic, I want to read Colossians 1:9. And so from the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding. Amen. We definitely need to be praying for his will, not our will. But on today's video, I am going hiking. This is one of the video content that I mentioned in a couple videos ago. We'll call it future content. As I am in my second year of carnivore, matter of fact, I'm 421 days into the carnivore journey, and I'm starting to feel more and more phenomenal. My hip feels much more better. So it is healing. It's taking a little time. So parts of healing, healing your body, not only nutrition is very important, getting out and getting the sun, getting grounded, getting fresh air, but also moving, some sort of movement. So today I am going on a short hike. I am going down the road from where I live. There's a conservation area called Rudolph Bennett Wildlife Area, and there are horse trails down there. Some of these horse trails have been redone by the conservation agents, but most of them my father built back in the 70s and 80s when he was younger and rode horses. I actually went on a few of them when I was a kid in the 80s. Of course, I was much younger and stuff, but I also, after a while, thought it was fun. But after a while, I was getting tired, I was getting bored. But as now I'm in my second year carnivore, I want to go hiking. So I am doing some hiking today, and I want to bring y'all along with this journey. But I could fast, but one case I get hungry. You're on the trail. It depends on how long you're going to be on the trail. You could fast, and it'd be great. You get that autophagy. You get the benefits of the fasting and your exercise and movement. But one case, you get hungry and you need that snack. Well, just in case I get hungry, I did bring some stuff with me. It is just a short hike, maybe a 3-4 hour hike. Down a trail, up a road, down a trail, back to where my truck is going to be parked. And just in case I get hungry, I want to make sure that I am equipped with food, especially carnivore food. So you're out on the trail, and you normally make burger patties, bacon, steaks, chuck roast, eggs, stuff like that. But yet you have an issue because you don't have a way to keep it cool, and you don't want to have to carry a cooler while you're hiking. Sucks. I have my backpack. Yes, this is a tool backpack, but this is what I use as a backpack that I take to work every day with my stuff and essential stuff in it, but I'm also using it for hiking. So what I have packed into this bag that I am going to be taking on this hike, especially the carnivore foods. It is very important that you stay on carnivore. If you're healing, carnivore foods, stack foods, non-perishable foods is very important. So I'm going to open this bag and I'll show you what I'm going to be taking. Well, first of all, of course, I'm taking my hiking stick because it does help. I still have a limp. I still have some mild irritation. I don't know if my hip is permanently damaged or is it slowly healing, but each day goes by, it's getting better. But I want to have this as an aid, and it also helps as you're hiking, especially, you never know, you're going to be crossing a log or, rough ground, crossing a creek. This will help. It is bacon. I did bacon. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees. I had a parchment lined cookie sheet, and I laid this bacon for 20 minutes. I cooked it for 20 minutes where I put it on a cooling rack to let the bacon drip all the grease off and drain off, but also I could be able to save the bacon grease. So you get two things in one. You get the bacon grease and you get a nice little snack. And this will add the added fat because sometimes, your prepackaged proteins doesn't have enough fat in it. And carnivore, you want to have a higher fat calorie to protein ratio. So here's a good way to have my fat besides my pork rinds. We'll set that down and we'll set that to the side. I did pick these up at Walmart. I got this packaged chicken of the sea, wild caught pink salmon, and it has no carbs in it. It's just pretty much just a regular, and it's wild caught, and it's a good source of protein. It's a good snack. It also gives you the good omega-3s, but also it's something that I can have a filler I can take. I don't have to have it refrigerated, and it's a good snack, and it is skinless and it's boneless, so there is no bones, pieces and stuff like it is in a lot of the canned stuff. But I also got some tuna, prepackaged tuna, ready to go. So, and it is wild caught, and so I have that, and it's as good as a eating on a go. And of course, I did for trash. You want to make sure you don't want to litter. I got a Ziploc bag for my trash. I got a fork to eat that stuff because I don't think I want to eat it. When I do, I like a little spice. This is probably the only non-carnivore thing that I have is this hot sauce, this Frank's hot sauce. I like to have it. I like to have a little heat with my tuna or my pink salmon there. It gives it a little flavor. So I have that with me. Of course, I carry my Redmond's sea salt everywhere I go. And finally, I found these on sale for $1.85. The Chomps beef sticks, great snack, very clean, very clean stick. It's grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Normally it's hard to get this. I found these at Natural Grocers in Columbia, Missouri for $1.85 on sale. That's the cheapest I ever found these. So I bought a case of them. So I have plenty of these. These beef sticks are a great treat, a great thing to have on the trip. So we have that. And then if I'm not hungry, but I need a little pick-me-up, or I feel that hunger sensation, I have a little jar of Malden sea salt. I like this. I carry this with me everywhere, even at work. All I'll do is I can open up the jar. I'll just lick my finger, put a little bit of salt. Boom, done. You get your salt. Or you can put it in your water to have a little salt water. So it helps your electrolytes because our bodies need sodium. When we sweat or we work out, whatever, we lose sodium. We lose our electrolytes. And when you are carnivore, you don't have the carbs now to hold that in. The carbs and sugars, that's what holds our water retention. That's why we're so much bigger. But when you go to carnivore and you lose all that and you start burning fat for fuel and you're using your ketones, you lose that water quickly. So you have to make sure you hydrate anyway, including, electrolytes, like you keep that on you, or you make salt water, whatever you got to do, salt your food to taste, whatever you got to do to maintain that well balanced, because if not, we can get dehydrated. It will affect our entire body. And yes, it can affect your heart so bad that it will give you a heart attack because of dehydration. You want to make sure you stay hydrated. So I want to make sure that I have plenty of water, my electrolytes. Of course, if I get hungry and I want to take a break, I'll sit on the trail or sit somewhere. I have my meal or my snacks here. And most of all, make sure I have my hiking sticks. So I'm ready to go down to Rudolph Bennett, and I'm ready to go on this hike. So let's go down to Rudolph Bennett, and I'll take you all along with me. I have reached where I'm going to take my first break. I am down here at the lake. It is beautiful, but it is time for me to take a break. I did not realize that this is the first time I ever went hiking. This is the first time my hip ever had any kind of continuous movement like this besides work. At work I have, I can sit and take a break here and there, but here I've already walked over 5,000 steps from where I parked the truck to the lake. And I'm not gonna lie, this hip is a little bit flared. It's a little bit irritated. That's because it's not chronically inflamed. It's just because I still have some scar tissue. I still have some arthritis in there where I have restriction of rotation. So every time I went up and down these hills, it just irritated it. When I walk on the flat ground, I'm okay, but I'm ready for a break, and I'm going to enjoy this peacefulness. I'm not going to stop, not going to call to get someone to come and pick me up, take me to my truck. I'm going to finish this hike that I start. I'm in an hour in it, and I know it'll take another hour or two before I get to my truck, and the rest of the way is pretty much once I get to the top. On top of that hill there's a road, and it's pretty much flat all the way to the next trail that I'm going to go. So I'm going to be, this is where my hip's going to have the, let me turn back. This is where my hip will get that break, and I can then walk until I get that next trail before I hit the up and down. And then from there, the trail goes along the road. I can either take along the trail that has mild, very low grade hills, or I can just take the road, which is pretty much flat. But no matter what, I am going to finish this hike. This is the first hike I ever done. I am so super grateful that I can be able to do this, because over a year ago, before Carnivore, there's no way you'd get me out here to hike. I wouldn't even get but 5 or 6 steps in, or a half a mile in, and boom, I would be hurting and say, take me back to the truck. I am done. I want to go sit and relax. But it feels good. So I'm definitely going to do some more. So I'm going to take a break, and I'll let you all enjoy a little bit of the lake view here, and I'm going to get on my merry way and get back to the truck, because I need to get back to do a covered dish for a dinner that's across the road tonight. All right, I'm going to wrap this video up. I did have to call my mother. I went up that hill to get to the road so I can continue hiking, but unfortunately with this hip, it started flaring up, and with going up and down hills, that internal rotation, I do have restriction on it. So I decided to call to get a ride. I did get 6,836 steps in, which is 3.5 miles. Not bad going up and down hills through the woods at the conservation. So, but this primary video was about carnivore snacks when you're out here hiking. So if you're out there hiking and you don't know what to bring, I showed you earlier in this video what I brought. Get you some Chomps beef sticks, cook you up some bacon, put them in, put it in a container, pork rinds, some tuna, some pink salmon in those packets. Anything that is non-perishable will work on a hike. And remember, don't throw your trash out there on the trail. Make sure you take it with you and throw it in the proper way, in the proper place. Likewise, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage and support one another.